played a lot up until the last 3 or 4 years. I've lost my distance, and so it's not as much fun as it used to be.
Because I believe everybody at one point in time was a Democrat in Okemah, but now it's a much, it's a very strong Republican county. Donald Trump got 77% of the vote in this county. Did you ever think you'd see a day where a county that was such a Democratic county would become a Republican county? And how do you feel about President Trump, and how do you think he's doing after his first 6 weeks back in office? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Golf and Politics. We've got a special episode for you today. We are in Okemah, Oklahoma, which is the largest city in Okfuskee County in Oklahoma. Yet there's only 3,000 total people that live in Okemah. Now, this is even though it's a very small town, it boasts some very famous people, including Woody Guthrie, Larry Coker, national championship football coach, my favorite musician on the planet, Evan Felker of the Turnpike Troubadours, also a former governor from Okemah. So this is a small town, but it packs a big punch. And our guest today might not be somebody that's famous internationally, but he is sure well known here in Okemah, Oklahoma, where he's lived his entire life. He's 90 years young, and our special guest today is Earnie Fox. Earnie, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us. I would love for you to just take a little time and explain how this golf course came to be in Okemah, Oklahoma. It's the only golf course in the county. And then how did it come to bear your name? This is called the Earnie Fox Okemah Golf Course. How did that come to be?
Well, I've been a volunteer here basically since the course has been in existence, and actually for about the past 20 years, it's been a full-time volunteer operation on my part, 7 days a week, from daylight to dark.
And what year did the course open?
Opened in 1991.
Okay.
And it was brought about by one of the golfers here was playing at another course, and it was not very busy, and he'd go from one green to the next, and instead of following the 1, 2, 3, 4 numerical rating, so the course manager of this particular course went out and told him he's going to have to stop doing that. Made him mad. He came back to Okemah, and several of us were retiring about that time. And he said, let's build a golf course in Okemah. And we came down here. This was a slough area, an airport, but it was basically a slough. So there was about 10 guys that got together and put in a few dollars, and the city agreed to lease this acreage to us, put in a golf course. And we did, all volunteer, we did, and opened up in 1991, and have been volunteering ever since.
That's great. It's interesting. Some of the most famous golf courses in the world were started because somebody got mad at a golf course and decided they're going to go start their own club. So that's great. Now, were you retired in 1991? You worked for the state government.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about your career in state government.
Well, I went to work for the welfare department.
Okay.
And was director here for the Okfuskee County till 1980 or 81, and transferred to the Oklahoma City and retired to the administrative review team, and retired in 1987.
Okay.
And spent my retirement years here volunteering at the golf course.
Where did you play golf before this golf course came to be, and how'd you get started in the game?
Got started late in life. my best friend was playing it. We woke at the time, and so he kind of got me started playing golf over there. And I think 1980s, the late 1980s, I was joined the Henrietta Golf Course
Okay.
and played there until we opened up here.
That's great. So how much did you play? A lot of work. Did you get to play a lot with all the work that you did here?
Well, yes, I played a lot up until the last 3 or 4 years. I I've lost my distance, and so it's not as much fun as it used to be.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that way. So now there's not a lot of golf courses in this part of rural Oklahoma. If you look around a radius here, um, there's not a lot of places to play. Do you think it's really important to have this course for the community? And how many young people come through here every year and learn the game at this course here at Okemah?
Well, I don't know how many young people. We don't have a lot of young people, to draw upon who play golf, but it's kind of nice to see the young people grow up, bring their girlfriends, play golf a while, and then you miss them then for a while, and a year or two later they show up with their little, not their girlfriends, but their wives and their little kids.
Oh, that's great. Wonderful.
That motivates me to continue with this.
Well, golf courses, even in major metropolitan areas, have real problems. And your son-in-law, Chris Ben, just sent former Speaker of the Oklahoma House, who we're going to do an interview with later. Chris, you play a lot of golf in the Fortune, correct? And Stan Salee is a county commissioner in Tulsa. And I went out and did an interview on the course with him a couple months ago. And the amount of challenges that face La Fortune Park Golf Course, which gets more rounds of golf than any course in this country, are significant. And even with a much bigger tax base, obviously, there's some difficulties that come around with it. Being a volunteer operation in a very, very small rural community, there are real challenges. And I don't think a lot of people that show up on the weekend to drink a few beers and play golf, when they come in and pay their greens fees, understand everything that goes into keeping this club open. What is the most difficult challenge that you've faced in managing this course and keeping it going for 40 years?
Well, keeping the course in decent shape. The greens are really, we have bent grass greens, and they're real sensitive to diseases and the heat. You gotta maintain a schedule for heating and or cooling the greens and in the hot weather, and keeping the course from getting diseased overnight. You can have some kind of a disease that pops up and can pretty well wipe your greens out if you don't know how and don't have the right stuff to take care of them. I think that's probably the most difficult, and I'm usually always here every 7 days a week, and try to keeps them in good shape. And sometimes you just get tired and lazy, and you might miss a day or two, and if you do, you're sometimes in trouble.
Well, it's bent greens are tougher to maintain in the heat like we have in Oklahoma. What did make you made the decision to put in bent grass greens here instead of Bermuda like a lot of the other?
Well, I didn't make the decision. It was made by the board probably within the first 5 years of operation.
How did this board come together? This is just your friends of yours that you all decided we needed this golf course, and those that those that put in the money, they were on the board to make decisions, or how did the organization start?
Well, it started, one person led the effort. His name was Hoot Phelan.
Yeah.
Hoot Phelan, yeah. And he was quite a comical fellow, but he was a determined person and was, I guess, well liked by a lot of people, and they followed his lead.
Okay.
And it was a welcome project for Okemah. Big to do
Oh, sure.
for Okemah.
Now, is there a tournament that's played here named after him? Did I see that?
There is, yes. It's played during the celebration days of April the 22nd is Okemah's birthday,
Okay.
and that's usually the date that we set for that hoop feeling tournament.
So you worked a full career doing work in the welfare department. I mean,
Yes.
you didn't go to school for agronomy. You didn't go to school golf course. How did you learn these things, and who kind of taught you the things that you needed to know to keep this place maintained?
Well, the consultants were from the, I guess, this salesman from selling the products, chemicals and the products. They advise you on what you need and send out a schedule. I have schedules for what you need to do to maintain the health of the greens. And if you contract a disease, you call them and they will advise you as to what's best for the greens.
So a couple years ago, folks came together and decided to change the name from Okemah Golf Course to the Earnie Fox Okemah Golf Course.
Yes.
What did that mean to you? How special was that? And
Well, it was pretty special.
can we look at some of the articles here?
Well, sure, you could.
This is
Here's
2022 when this happened.
yes. Well,
Jordan,
no, it was not. When was it?
let's get it. Might have been 23.
The trade name in June of 23.
Yeah, June of 23. This article here is from October of 22. I guess is when that decision was made by the group, and we're great. That's fantastic. Such an honor. Oh, even Fount Holland made it into this.
Yes, he did.
Holland make it into this article.
Well, he was our first sign up when that name was changed. He and his wife brought their check and said, "We want to be the first."
Well, that's great. For our listeners out there, you may or not know that Fount Holland is my business partner, and this show would not be possible without Fount Holland. He underwrites a lot of the cost of us doing this podcast. He's a great mentor of mine. So he first brought me out here a couple years ago when we had a meeting with Senator Thompson, and I looked at the surrounding. Let's get a shot of this. Senator Thompson, who's now left office, was our client for many years, and we had a meeting. Senator and I said, we should stop in and see if he goes, I know my Uncle Ernie will be at the golf course. He's always at the golf course. And you were so kind to take me around the cart and show me every hole. And I look forward to getting out there and playing again today. So,
oh, well, good.
And now we got a new senator there's a special election coming up, right, on Tuesday.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about politics.
Okay.
I'm assuming you grew up as a Democrat. Is that? I think Fouts told me that. Is that
Probably.
Because I believe everybody at one point in time was a Democrat in Okemah, but now it's it's a very strong Republican county. Donald Trump got 77% of the vote in this county. Did you ever think you'd see a day where a county that was such a Democratic county would become a Republican county? And how do you feel about President Trump, and how do you think he's doing after his first 6 weeks back in office?
Oh, we're strong supporters.
Strong supporters.
Yes.
That's great.
We think.
I have a Democratic co-host who's not a part of this today.
Oh.
He does not like Donald Trump. So we jar back and forth, jab each other all the time. But I'm glad he's not here to ask you tough questions about Trump, so we can just keep it all positive.
Well, I think most of the customers we have and members that we have are MAGA people.
You get 77% of the vote. I don't think Baptist deacons even get that in their congregation, so that's great. Now, you live in a political family. your nephew, my business partner we just talked about, is a legend in Oklahoma politics. Your son-in-law is the former Speaker of the Oklahoma House. You knew both of these guys before they were political somebodies.
Yes.
Did you ever envision them both doing such great things in politics?
Well, I expected a lot out of Chris because he married my daughter.
That's great.
And my nephew found he was political from the day he was born. He started his political career when he started talking.
That's great. Well, I have this next.
But my brother was also sheriff after he retired. He was sheriff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And my sister-in-law was the county clerk for many years. So politics was no stranger to us.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, hey, I want to close this interview out by, we call this the shotgun nine. So a lot of times I go with my buddies, play 18 holes, and you're in the clubhouse having a beer, and you're disappointed about how you played, and like, let's go get 9 holes in really fast and see if we can end on a good note.
Well, we don't drink beer in the clubhouse here.
Well, I just want to ask you 9 questions and get kind of fast answers from you. Let's start with this first one. I ask every one of our guests, if you could pick a dream foursome to play golf, but that dream foursome had to include a politician, this could be living or dead, a politician, a pro golfer, and a celebrity, who would you want to play with?
Well, of course, I'd want to play with Chris.
That's great.
A politician.
Well, he's the politician. There he is. You got the Hills Act, right?
Well, probably the president, of course.
President Trump, yeah.
Yeah, and then what we going to call him, a celebrity or a politician?
I guess he could check both boxes too. There you go. So which pro golfer do you want to play with?
Well, I always rooted for Jack Nicklaus whenever I was following them closely.
He was so dominant.
He was. And he always had a good personality on the TV.
Absolutely. Well, I lived just outside of Columbus, Ohio for quite a few years after college, and I have to tell you that Jack and Barbara Nicklaus do a lot for the city of Columbus.
Yes.
And I actually spent a whole year working on campaigns in West Palm Beach, or on one campaign in West Palm Beach, and they do a lot for the Palm Beach community as well. They're very generous people. Who's the best golfer from Okemah ever?
I guess I'd say probably Bruce Dunson.
Bruce Dunson, okay.
And I don't want to slight my grandson.
All right. I saw that day we're out here, he was playing. He's a good stick for sure.
Yes.
When you look back over decades of managing this course, what's your favorite memory?
I don't know. It's that's kind of I think the friendships I've made.
That's great. Wonderful. Okay, so you get people out here playing. I'm sure there's some people that have done some pretty stupid things out on the golf course. What's the dumbest thing somebody's done on the golf course that you just shake your head, can't believe happened?
Well, I don't know. Putting that like that, you're including me in what's the dumbest thing that you've done. But
my dad's best friend growing up, I used to play a lot of golf with. He was a pastor of a church, and so he had more time during the day to take me out golfing when I was a kid. And one day I was in the group behind him, and we're coming up on 18, and he had driven the golf cart. It was downhill, and it was unpaved cart path, and there was dust, and he kind of lost control of the cart. He drove it all the way out into the middle of the lake. And one of the owner of the golf course just said, "I've owned this place for 40 years. I've never seen somebody put a golf cart in the lake."
Well, we have done that. A child has done that.
Oh, wow.
But it was a long time ago, and the lake was very, very shallow at the time.
Outside of Okemah, what is your favorite golf course that you've ever played?
I haven't played a lot of golf courses other than just the small courses. I always enjoyed Fountainhead when it was in good shape.
Okay. Well, when you're 7 days a week at the golf course, it's hard to get around.
It is.
Play other courses.
It is.
What, in your ultimate dreams, what would be the best course to ever play that you've seen on television that you'd really want to play?
Gee whiz, I don't know. I guess Augusta Golf Course would probably be my choice.
All right. Well, I heard rumors that in 1998, there's a campaign going on, and your nephew was doing direct mail for a whole bunch of candidates, and the mail house malfunctioned and had a big mess, and that you may or may not have saved a lot of candidates by going down there helping get all the mail out the door. Is that something that you did for your nephew back then?
I can't answer that truthfully with him sitting over there. But actually, I'd do anything for it.
I also heard that you may have knocked more doors for your son-in-law when he ran for office than anybody's ever knocked in the state of Oklahoma history. You spent a lot of time in West Tulsa during his first campaign. Is that true?
That's true. I believe very strongly in him.
That's great. What's the craziest thing that somebody said to you at the doorstep? Or did you get attacked by any dogs when you were doing that?
Well, the craziest thing, I guess, was one woman said, yes, I'm going to have to set a plate for you at the lunch table. I've been to her house more than once.
More than once. That's great. That's great. Well, I really appreciate your time today, and I know we're going to get around and take some video and check out the rest of the course, but thank you so much, one, for what you've done for the game of golf in this community, and thank you for taking the time to share that with us and our listeners.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you giving this your attention.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for everybody that's listening to Golf and Politics, and please go on and subscribe on YouTube, or if you get your podcast audio only on Spotify or Apple, we're on every platform. And by subscribing and liking the episodes, engaging with them, it helps us reach more people. Thank you for all you're doing. And again, Ernie, thank you so much, sir.
You're quite welcome.
Great pleasure for me. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.